mighty standing army of that land they don't have?
You can't trust them.
I don't know. History says the other way around.
Inquisitor.
아, 숙소가 아닌데? 일단 애들 보고서 좀 하고.
I've arranged an accord between the Marquis and the Dowager. Wonder of wonders. Perhaps they can be useful to us after all.
오케이. 다녀와봐.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor.
좋았어. 세 개의 눈이 베릭이랑 대화를 하나?
Inquisitor.
So, you've been hanging out with Three Eyes? He does good work. Nothing compared to Bianca, though.
I take it you know each other?
Acquainted. I wouldn't call us drinking buddies or anything. Guy's got weird priorities. Frankly, I think he's jealous of Bianca. Poor sod.
I'd love to build a crossbow like Bianca someday.
Then I wish you luck. The world could probably use a few more smiths that good.
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bartrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the deep roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bartrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
What could the Templars want with it?
In Kirkwall, just having the lyrium idol made Knight Commander Meredith impossibly strong. Before it turned her into a lyrium statue, anyway. Maybe they thought the power was worth it, or maybe they didn't know the consequences.
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house.
아니 잘못 눌렀어요. 미안해요. 마우스가 나갔어.
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life. I've had a few alchemists studying it in Kirkwall, in shifts.
Why do you have red lyrium?
My brother kept a sliver when he sold it. I'm pretty sure he held on to it because it was already talking to him. That little shard drove him mad. I had him taken to a sanitarium and eventually found the fragment in his house. We brought the shit to the surface, Bartrand and I. I wanted to find out if there was a way to shut it up. So far, it looks like the answer is no.
If red lyrium is as dangerous as you say, why do you keep it?
I've heard that shit singing to me. I know better than anyone how bad it is. In Orzammar, miners keep regular, non-crazy raw lyrium in special lead-lined containers. Actually, it's a huge secret how they're constructed. Keeps surface folk from horning in on the lyrium trade. I pulled a lot of strings and got a smith to build me 4 of them nested inside each other. Nobody gets to study it up close for more than an hour, and they have to wait a week between shifts.
I've seen it infect people like a disease and turn them to lyrium. How can it do that?
That's a good question. The people I've had studying the stuff say you need to actually touch it to get infected. But it seems to take time. The longer you spend with it, the more likely you'll come down with a case of the crazy. But how it works, and if it can be cured, they haven't figured out.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. So, you've been hanging out with Three Eyes? He does good work. Nothing compared to Bianca, though. Then I wish you luck. The world could probably use a few more smiths that good.
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
다 물어봤잖아.
Another time, Varric.
Greetings.
What do you know about the Fade?
A great
네,
deal, to my
안녕하세요.
wondering. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
I'd like to know more about the Breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster in an area that has seen many deaths. But your anchor, as Corypheus calls it,
다음에
allows you some
솔라스랑
control of the
연애해볼까?
breach.
3회차는.
That suggests it was deliberate.
I'd like to know more about the Veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade. But according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
샌더스요? 샌더스가 누구예요?
It sounds like it would be wonderful.
And dangerous. But yes, a world where imagination defines reality. Where spirits are as common as trees or grass. Instead, spirits are
앤더스
strange and
2편에
fearful,
있잖아요.
and the Fade is a terrifying
유튜브에
world
올라와 있어요.
surrounded by
저
mages
앤더스
and
연애로
dreams.
했거든요.
I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing
유튜브에
the beauty of such a world,
이
along with the
편에서.
obvious peril.
I'd like to know more about demons.
The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them, if not in peace, at least without such active confrontation?
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
아, 밥 먹고 있어요.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. What can I do for you?
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your exploration of the Fade.
I would be happy to share it with you.
Tell me about the old ruins you explored.
불고기
Found
베이크.
an ancient dwarven tide no longer sheltered by the stone. An earthquake had exposed it all to daylight. 1,000 dwarven corpses lay.
뭐가 그렇게 반짝거리지? 책상 위에? 저게 뭐지?
Their
무슨
last stand
석판인가?
marked by one great ring of armor. In the middle,
반찬 없어요. 그냥 불고기 베이크 먹고 있어요.
clutching tightly to a small stuffed toy.
Tell me about a spirit you encountered.
The Alamari crossed the Frostback Mountains to escape a beast they called the Shadow Goddess in their story. I met the spirit that they fled. She walks the Fade along the southern tundra, weeping lonely and forgotten. Great Ferelden formed because a lonely spirit drove her prey away.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a dwarf emerge into the light of day and shield his eyes against the sun. The first time he had seen it, the tears were streaming from his eyes. I thought them from the blazing light, until I saw the rock he held so tightly. Then he laid the rock down gently, and he left it as he walked away.
뭔 돌이지?
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
그 돌이 이건가? 아닌데? 뭐 리듐인가?
Inquisitor,
I need to know more about Corypheus.
we spoke of this on our travels to Skyhall. What more can I tell you? Cassandra and Varric seem more familiar with their adversary.
You've given me good counsel before. I could use some now.
My apologies, Inquisitor. My poor manners shame me. I claim no secret wisdom, but I will guess as best I can.
What do you think Corypheus will do next?
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory. It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so. You must continue on his course or show weakness. He will return to his plans to throw Olay into chaos, and then conquer it for Devinter.
You're sure that's what he'll do?
As certain as is possible, assuming I can plausibly predict a man who seeks to rise to godhood.
And can you?
The key is understanding this. No real god need prove himself. Anyone who tries is mad or lying. His deception will undo him, as it has done countless fools before.
I would like to know more about the orb he carries.
As I said, that must be the means by which he created the breach. I suspect the blast that destroyed the Conclave was more accident than anything, the result of unlocking power that had sought release for ages. What I cannot understand is how he managed to survive such an explosion.
You said that you believe the orb is elven.
I never would have believed a Devinter mage could unlock such a powerful relic. It clearly enhances his abilities, giving him access to power he should never have known.
Like the power to control the archdemon.
Indirectly, one assumes. Nothing in any law connects my people to the old god dragons who became archdemons.
What can you tell me about the source of Corypheus's power?
According to the law, the ancient magistars of Devinter received guidance from the old gods. Corypheus commands a false archdemon, a corrupted old god. This suggests he no longer sees himself as their minion. Some of his unique power comes from the corruption of the blight. The rest may come from the orb he carries.
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your...
I would be happy to share it with you.
뭐야 이거 다 이야기했잖아.
Goodbye.
도리안.
Fancy meeting you here.
I'm curious why you were in Redcliffe in the first place.
Looking up an old mentor of mine. A magister by the name of Alexius. Good fellow. Always thought highly of him. Then one day, he asks me to join the Venatori. I don't know what he was thinking. He knew I wanted to change Tevinter, not regress it into prehistoric
저 제가
man.
그릇 좀 치우고 올게요.
The Venatori killed Alexius once he stopped being useful.
아,
Seems odd he would get involved with the Venatori at all.
That's what I thought. I'd hoped to persuade him to leave Redcliffe. I suppose he had his reasons. People will do odd things when they're strung over a barrel. Either that, or I didn't really know Alexius at all.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Popular topic. Anything specific?
I'm wondering if the Imperium would be a useful ally.
I'd think you'd be more concerned whether or not they'd support the Venatori. They won't, of course. At least, not officially. They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. secretly. Many magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago. We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we
약간 도리안하고 내 캐릭터 보니까 초콜릿과 화이트 초콜릿 느낌인데.
Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen. I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
That's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
I should go.
Try not to die. I would notice you were gone.
The Inquisitor.
누구세요?
At your service, my lord.
Let's talk about you.
Me?
Bards tell tales. I bet you tell some good ones.
There are plenty of tales in the library. Perhaps you should look for them there.
아씨
What did you
철벽
do
쩌네.
before you worked for the Divine?
I was a bard, an Orlesian spy for many years. For a time, I also served a small cloister in Lothering. After the Blight, the Divine called on me to oversee her personal network.
Can you teach me to be a bard?
Being a bard is so much more than being a spy. It involves a keen understanding of politics, the ebb and flow of influence, the great game. The bard's is an intricate dance where a smile can be sharper than any dagger. The best way to learn is to immerse yourself in it. Perhaps when this is all over, I'll teach you.
I should leave you to your work.
We can always talk later.
컬렌이나 만나볼까? 까마귀 농지? 아 비켜봐. 이 느낌표는 뭐지?
Finally, a place for
아무것도 아닌가?
horses.
Of all the things in the world, a demon who wears someone's face. I imagine it makes trusting others risky.
Without trust, how would we build alliances or friendships?
It's
네,
easy to speak
안녕하세요.
well of trust when yours has never been misplaced.
I want to hear more about you.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
What did you do before you became a warden?
I was a soldier, a nobody trained to wield a sword and follow orders. I grew weary of fighting other men's wars.
So you became a warden.
More or less. Becoming a Grey Warden was the first time I felt like I mattered. The life I'd led before seems hollow in comparison. Perhaps one day it will fade away.
Your name Blackwall doesn't sound Orlesian. Marcher, then? Ferelden?
I was from the Free Marchers originally. Markham. That was a long time ago. Another life.
I hear that many wardens were once criminals.
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
Why did you join the wardens?
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Words that have little meaning to the rest of us. Because they lay down their lives for those they have sworn to protect. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one of them. Later then.
Inquisitor.
As leader of the Inquisition, you... There's something I must tell you.
Whatever it is, I'm willing to listen.
Right. Thank you. Lyrium grants Templars our abilities, but it controls us as well. Those cut off suffer. Some go mad, others die. We have secured a reliable source of lyrium for the Templars here. But I no longer take it.
You stopped.
When I joined the Inquisition. It's been months now.
Cullen, if this can kill you...
It hasn't yet. After what happened in Kirkwall, I couldn't. I will not be bound to the Order, or that life any longer. Whatever the suffering, I accept it. But I would not put the Inquisition at risk. I've asked Cassandra to... watch me. If my ability to lead is compromised, I will be relieved from duty.
Are you in pain?
I can endure it.
Thank you for telling me. I respect what you're doing.
Thank you, Inquisitor. The Inquisition's army must always take priority. Should anything happen, I will defer to Cassandra's judgment. Was there something you needed?
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
What would you like to know?
You've lived in the Circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's harrowing, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
Do Templars and mages never speak to each other?
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the Chant of Transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates, or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing?
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of lyrium and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
잠깐만. 목이 왜 이래? 잠깐만. 갑자기 이렇게 대화하는 거 보니까 폴아웃 하고 싶어졌어. 이게 무슨 심리지?
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Another time then.
이게 갑자기 무슨 심리지? 갑자기 왜 폴아웃이 하고 싶지? 알았어요. 잠깐만요. 나 뭐 좀 보내고. 그래. 폴아웃 컨셉 좀 정해주세요. 파이프로? 그게 가능해?